Good afternoon. So I have my next league game coming up tomorrow, and my opponent is playing Soulblight Gravelords. And I mean, without having to say much, I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified to play against this army because they are a very good army, and I think this player is a very good player, and I am not. I'm not looking forward to it. So let's actually look over their list and the army and learn a little bit about it and talk a little about it and see what kinds of thoughts and strategies that we can come up with. So first, here's my list. So I'm playing Big Wah, Grand Strategy Wah, Indomitable, Weird Knob Shaman with Master Magic and Teleport Spell, Gobsprack, Mega Boss with Destroyer, War Chanter with Fix and Beat, Swamp Collar Shaman with Blizzard, Wergog Prophet with Hoarfrost and Glowing Tattoos, 2 units of Ardboys, both with Stickas, and then a unit of Reinforced Brutes with Hackas, Manskewer Bolt Boys, 3 Gore Gruntas, and Dorian Acolytes, Warlord, for that Destroyer / Glowing Tattoos artifact, and then a Wizard Finder Battalion, that's the Mega Boss and some of the, I think the Brutes, so just in case there's they have a big wizard, right, with a lot of wounds, and then an Ironjawz Fist just for it's for the Gore Gruntas, if I want to do a turn 1 teleport and slap, I can just, do that without having to spend a command point, so that's, something. It's better than nothing, right? And then the Triumph, I can also give the Gore Gruntas on turn 1, Hoarfrost, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, so that can be a pretty good turn 1 play before I stack up those big wall points. So, and then their list. So just quickly, it's Soulblight Gravelords. The army type is Verkos. Grand Strategy, Control the Nexus. Triumph Bloodthirsty. We have a Bloodseeker Palanquin with Vile Transference, and then a Bloodseeker Palanquin, who's the general, with Spore Tracker, and the artifact to power Ulfincarni Phylactery. So the Phylactery. Spell Flaming Weapon. 2 units of Deadwalker Zombies, a unit of Death Rattle Skeletons, I believe. Is that a reinforced unit? Could very well be a reinforced unit. And then 2 Mortis engines for Behemoth, as well as a Graveguard, unit of Graveguard. That unit of Graveguard is also probably reinforced. Yeah, that's reinforced unit of Graveguard. And what was the other unit that I was wondering if it was reinforced? The Death Rattle Skeletons. Yeah, that is a reinforced unit of Death Rattle Skeletons. And then we have Andorian Acolytes and Battle Regiment. So this player is going to have fewer drops than us, so they're going to get to go first. So from a perspective right away, it means that during deployment, we're going to set up for to receive, right? We're going to set up to receive on turn 1. And if that doesn't happen and they make us go turn 1, it just means we're going to unpack the castle and prepare for the double turn. Because that's kind of the default strategy with my list in Big Wah. I'm playing a super castle-y defensive version of this army. So it means that I'm expecting everyone to have fewer drops than me. And so that's kind of how I take it from the beginning. So essentially what we're looking at here is, just in short, the TLDR of this list is there's 4 of these Bloodseeker Palanquin guys, because if you look here, there's 2 of the hero ones, and then there's 2 Mortis engines down below, but they're essentially the same thing. They just have a hero version and a non-hero version, and then a lot of zombies, recursion, all kinds of crazy stuff. But let's go through it in detail. So the army type, as I said, is the Subfaction Verkos. And so what it does, it unlocks 2 heroic actions. One of them is called Pack Alpha. You pick a friendly vampire hero, then pick 1 friendly summonable Deadwalker unit within 12, not wholly within 12, just within 12 inches of the hero, invisible to them, and you add D3 models. So this is a source of recursion. The Deadwalker zombies and also the Direwolves that we'll get to shortly, because they're not in the list, but they're a summonable unit. It doesn't have to be wholly within 12, just within 12 and visible of a vampire hero. So this includes the Bloodseeker Palanquins, right? So the 2 hero versions, you just get to add D3 models, and you can go above the maximum unit size. So you can do this on turn 1, and you just start adding zombies or direwolves. Fun. Then they also have Kin of the Wolf. Pick 1 friendly vampire hero. If you do so, you can add 1 unit of 10 direwolves to your army. This unit must be set up wholly within 9 inches of the hero carrying out this heroic action and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. That direwolf unit cannot move in the following movement phase. You cannot carry out this heroic action only once per battle. So what I'm expecting is on turn 1, he's going to summon 10 direwolves and start the game off with 2,150 points. Fun. And then from that point forward, it's just going to be like, if there's no other good heroic action to take, it'll just be add D3 zombies or direwolves per turn. So this is 10 times. Right? This is 10 times over the course of a game. 10 D3. So 20 more zombies. Right? So it's like, it's a lot of zombies. How about that? Let's say that. It's a lot of zombies. The grand strategy of Control the Nexus. I can't even remember what this is. I believe it's from the season. Let me just look it up here real quick. Control the Nexus. You complete this grand strategy if 2 or more friendly wizard units are wholly within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield. Okay. So he has 4 wizard units. So he wants to have 2 of them in the middle of the battlefield. So this is a good tactic for him. And it means that if I want to break through and deny this tactic, I'm going to have to probably kill both of the Necromancers and at least one of the Bloodseeker Palanquins. God, it's going to be such an uphill battle. It's going to be such an uphill battle. Bloodthirsty. Okay, so let's look at the general. So the Bloodseeker Palanquin. So what does this unit do? Well, it has 12 wounds, and at the top of its profile, it has a 14-inch move on a 4-up save. So the 4-up save, I think, is its weak point. If you can throw a couple rend at this thing, and then even with like all out defense or Mystic Shield, being on a 5-up save is kind of where we want to be. I believe that like if I can get a unit of Gore Gruntas, or if I can get a unit of whatever. So let's look at Gore Gruntas. So if I have a unit of Gore Gruntas with Violent Fury, against a unit that has a 4-up save. So this is if they are negating my rend, right? So if they're on a 4-up save, I should be able to do with Violent Fury about 12 damage on average. That's what my math says from my charts or whatever. So a unit of fully buffed up Gore Gruntas should be able to one-shot this thing off the board, to take one of these things off the board. So that for me, that's going to be a really important strategy. Is I need to kill, like if I just spend my time chewing through all the zombies and they just keep recurring zombies back, I'm not going to be able to win. I have to take out these heroes, and there's 6 of them, right? Well, sorry, there's not 6 heroes, but there's 6 targets that I want to kill. The foremost being the general, right? Because it's going to take out a lot of the utility of the army. So I really want to catch this thing, and so we'll see what kind of opportunities I get. I believe that my opponent is going to have to make a mistake in deployment for me to be able to throw like some Gore Gruntas into their back line and catch this this general in the back line. So I mean, it's totally doable, right? But things are going to have to go my way. This might be one of those occasions where I'm doing a charge in the hero phase so that I can retreat and pile in and then fight. It might be one of those situations where I have to like pull all the dirty tricks out of the Orc War Clans book to make this work. And it's going to have to be a lot of dice rolls. A lot of things are going to have to go my way if my opponent is deploying properly and screening out properly and like making sure that, like everything is actually like spaced well and good to go. So, cool. So the command trait, Spore Trackers. So if I remember correctly, I'm just going to check it out. Let's see, Spore Trackers. So where is it? Command trait, Spore Trackers. Is it not here? Well, actually, you know what? What's a better thing to look at first is actually just the battle traits for the army, right? So, Endless Legions. At the end of the movement phase, you can pick one friendly Soulblight Gravelords summonable unit that has been destroyed and roll a die. Add 1 to the roll if it's your movement phase. If you picked a summonable unit that is not a hero on a 4-up or a 3-up if it's their turn, a new replacement unit with half the models from this unit that was destroyed rounding up is added to your army. This unit must be set up wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Soulblight Gravelords hero or Gravesight, so we'll talk about that next, and more than 3 inches from all enemy units if it's your turn, or more than 9 inches from all enemy units if it's the enemy's turn, and it cannot attempt to charge or make a pile and move in the same turn. Each destroyed unit can only be replaced once. Replaced units cannot themselves be replaced. So it's a lot of zombies, right? So like these summonable units includes the Deadwalker zombies, the Death Rattle skeletons, the Dire Wolves, and the Grave Guard. So it's all of these things. So they all come back with half as many models on a 4-up, right? And then if you pick a, and then I from what I understand, if I'm reading this correctly, it's exactly just like the Gloomspite gets thing. So it's not like when it dies you roll, and if you fail you don't get it back. They just sort of go in a queue, and then you roll and get them all back at once, right? Yeah, you just pick one that has been destroyed and roll a die. And if you're successful, you get it back, and if you fail, you just do it again next time. And you get to do this every turn, not only on your turn. It's also not at the end of your turn, it's in the movement phase. So my opponent is going to get to do this at the end of my movement phase before I charge. They're going to get to throw more screens up in front of their enemies. So even if I chew through a unit of zombies, there's a chance that, oh, I just get the zombies back. Right? I just get them back, and I'm going to put them like somewhere really annoying in between the targets that, you know, that I want to kill and them. And so like it's going to be good. So that's fun. If you pick a summonable hero unit, of which my opponent has none. So there's another rule here for heroes, but my opponent has none that qualify. So that rule is not going to come into play. The Unquiet Dead. After territories are determined, so here's where we're going to talk about the grave sites. After territories are determined, you can pick up to 2 points within your territory and up to 2 points anywhere on the battlefield outside of your territory to be grave sites. Each grave site must be more than 1 inch from all terrain, features, and objectives. If both players set up grave site, something doesn't matter. So this is not faction terrain, so I can't interact with this. I can't smash to rubble to turn off grave sites. I can't be, like, it's super annoying. During deployment, instead of setting up a Soulblight Gravelords summonable unit on the battlefield, so again, these summonable units include the zombies, the skeletons, the dire wolves, and the grave guard, you can place it to one side and say that it is set up in the grave site as a reserve unit. You can set up 1 unit in the grave for each unit that you have set up on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up 1 or more of the reserve units in the grave on the battlefield, wholly within 12 inches of a grave site and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So it's sort of like that Stormcast Eternal mechanic where half the units are set up in reserve and they're going to come back not anywhere on the battlefield, but because the grave sites can be placed anywhere on the battlefield, my opponent is going to pick spots that are really good for them and really bad for me. And I know roughly where the zombies are going to be coming from, but because there's 4 locations, it's going to be difficult for me to play around all of them. So it does mean that I can get close to a grave site and make it very difficult for my opponent to actually find room, right? If I'm standing on a grave site and they have to be wholly within 12 inches of the grave site, like I can kind of zone out my opponent's ability to do this. This is something I think that Gobsprak is going to be pretty good at. If I park Gobsprak right on top of a gravesite, I don't think that my opponent's going to be able to summon units out of that gravesite. So that could be a way that I can hold my backline. If my opponent puts a graveyard in a really annoying spot in my backline, I can just sneaky miasma, or I can just fly and run or whatever Gobsprak over to it, park him right on top of it, and be like, okay, like this gravesite's turned off. Hopefully I'm within 30 for unbinds, and I have a feeling that might be a really good plan. If I can shut off one gravesite with Gobsprak and I can shut off another gravesite just like from taking objectives and just moving my castle around, that'll help, right? That'll help. So we'll see. Really annoying. Deadly Invocation. In your hero phase, you can pick up to 3 friendly Soulblight Gravelord summonable units wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Soulblight Gravelord hero, of which he has 4. You can either heal up to 3 wounds allocated to this unit, or if no wounds have been allocated, you can return a number of slain models to it. that have a combined wound characteristic of 3 or less. So it isn't, you don't get, it's not D3, you just get to add 3, right? In your hero phase, you just get to add 3 more zombies, right? And it's 3 friendly units of a friendly hero. So it's up to 3 units from 1 hero. And then because a lot of these like skeletons and zombies are all 1 wounders, you're not healing. What you're doing is you're just going to add 3 more zombies to 3 more to 3 units. Gross. Add 1 to the number of slain models that are returned to that unit if it's wholly within 12 inches of a grave site. So if you're within the hero and the grave site, you get even more. So I have a feeling my opponent's going to like play around this so they can just like add, it's 12 zombies, right? In your hero phase, it's like add 12 more zombies, 12 more wounds of stuff. Ugh. You cannot pick the same unit to benefit from this ability more than once per phase, right? So you have to have 3 more. And then they have a ward of 6 up. All the army has a ward of 6 up. So it's like, yeah, so just in short, it's like, you know, the subfaction is more recursion, right? You're adding more zombies. That's what the subfaction does. You get these wolves, and we're going to add more zombies. And then the faction's ability is you have these grave sites, and you can summon like half of your units can come out of the grave site. So my opponent's going to be swarming me all around me. And then the other faction abilities are more recursion, right? Add more zombies, you know. So it's going to be fun. So the general also has this command trait spore trackers. Am I super confused about this? I feel like there's something I'm missing here because I don't see it in the book. What am I missing? I looked at all of this before. Let's find out. Oh, okay, that's why I couldn't find it, because it's in the subfaction. It's a command trait for the subfaction. So the this command trait on this Bloodseeker Palanquin at the start of your hero phase, friendly Deadwalker units. So this is the Deadwalker zombies and the direwolves. So it's just the zombies, I think, or the direwolves, I guess. Friendly units wholly within 9 inches of this general can make a normal move up to 3 inches. So the zombies are going to get to move a little bit faster. The zombies' movement speed is, I am assuming, not very good. It's 4 inches, so it lets them move an additional 3 inches in the hero phase. So, okay, I mean, it's only your hero phase. And it's not even... They have to be wholly within 9, so it's pretty close. So to me, this looks like... a lot of these heroes are just going to be piled in behind the zombies. Right? So that they have, because I'm seeing a lot of ranges, and the ranges aren't huge. So I think it's going to be like 2 units of zombies right in front of the general, right? So it's going to be hard to get pigs in there. And then let's see. So then we have this artifact of power, this phylactery. So add 1 towards saves for friendly summonable units for the purposes of the Deathless Minion ability. So while they're wholly within 9, so instead of having a 6-up board, they have a 5-up board. So again, this is for zombies, skeletons, direwolves, and graveguards. As long as this general is within 9, they have a 5-up board. General must die. General must die, and the general has a 5-up board. So that throws the math off, right? Like I was talking before about the Gore Gruntas, how they can get in and blow up the general. So it means I'm going to have, you know, at least with a 5-up board, what we're doing is we're taking 12 and we're going to multiply it by 1.33 because functionally we're going to add that many wounds. So instead of being on 12 wounds, we're on 16 wounds, which means that I have to have Gore Gruntas with Violent Fury and Hoarfrost at least 2 rend and then I need to roll average to be able to take him out in one shot, right? Like I'm going to have to deal like 15 or 16 wounds, but a fully buffed up unit of Gore Gruntas can do that. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind. A Mega Boss on foot with Destroyer, which is again also in my list, with Hoarfrost is also going to be able to take this guy out. So, but I'm going to need some good rolls and luck on my side, right? So, you know, again, Spore Tracker's just like movements in the hero phase for zombies, so that's cool. They're slow, so they go from 4 inches to 7 inches, which is pretty good. Can't redeploy off that either, right? And so if positioned properly, like things coming out of grave sites, right, can get an extra 3-inch movement to get back into the fight. Ugh. Like, it's just... And then a flaming weapon as a spell, it's like, whatever. I don't know how hard these things hit. So let's see. No ranged attacks, just melee attacks. Yeah, let's look at this, the Bloodseeker Palanquin War Scroll in more detail now. So we get... Now we know the enhancements and we know what the army is capable of doing, like just the rules. So let's look at what these things do. Just to begin with. So melee weapons, we have Bloodletting Blade, 1-inch range, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage, so it's a maximum of 10. And with 3s and 3s and 1 rend, like it's not, like I'm not really afraid of this profile. Flaming Weapon, I can't even remember what Flaming Weapon does. I know that it just makes the, it makes your attack profiles better. I think you choose one profile and then it buffs it, but let's just make sure that we are fully informed. Universal spell lore, casting value of 4. Pick one of the caster's melee weapons, so you can only do it to himself. Add 1 to the damage characteristic until that weapon until the next hero phase. So it means that when we know we're going from 2 damage to 3 damage. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, going from 3 damage to 2 damage. And then we have Spectral Claw and Blade. So at the top of the profile, this is 12 dice, 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. So, you know, lots of gonna throw 12 dice at me at 4s and 4s. But with no rend, like if this is coming into something like Ardboys or whatever, it's like, okay, well, you know, like I'm going to be on a 2-up save for this. So that's fine. Not a huge deal. But the real problem is all the other stuff that this model can do. So it's a wizard. So one spell wizard. It can fly. It has a mount. It has an ability called the Hunger. Each time this unit fights, after all of its attacks have been resolved, you can heal. Fun. Up to a number of wounds allocated to it equal to the number of wounds and mortal wounds caused by those attacks that were allocated to enemy units to a maximum of 6. So healing 6 is a lot. Yeah. So it's going to be able to heal. So if I want to kill it, I got to kill it. Right? I got to hit it, I got to kill it. So Gore Grunt is fully buffed up. Mega Boss fully buffed up. We'll do that. So will lots of things at range. But I want to keep this thing away from me. Because of, let's keep reading. A promising concoction. The first time an enemy hero is slain by an attack made by this unit for the rest of the battle, add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly vampire units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. And you can carry out 2 different heroic actions with this unit at the start of the hero phase instead of 1. Oh my. So the heroic action, again, just to refresh your memory, is it's going to bring back more zombies. So if it kills a hero, it gets a buff, so it can't kill a hero. But, I mean, whatever. It's like, this is a win more mechanic. It means if you're already winning, you get to win even more. If he's killing my heroes, right, and I'm not killing him, so if he kills a Mega Boss and the Mega Boss doesn't kill him, then it's like, well, like, you're already winning, and now you're just winning more, so it's like, I don't care about this mechanic. Wail of the Damned, I care about this one. In your shooting phase, roll a die for each enemy unit within range of this unit's Wail of the Damned ability. So Wail of the Damned starts at 16 inches. Yuck. The range of this unit's Wail of the Damned is shown on the table. Yeah, on a 4-up, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So because generally in Big Wah, everything is stacked up real tight to maximize Wah points, if this thing gets within 16 inches, it's going to just start like dealing AoE damage to like all my little casters. And if on a 4-up, if he's able to kill one of my heroes. But I don't think that a promising concoction works unless it's melee attacks. It says by an attack made by this unit. And I don't think that Wail of the Damned counts as an attack. So, but still, it's like, like don't get within range of my Bolt Boys. Like don't get within, like that sucks. So it's got a 16-inch. And then when it's almost dead, it's a 10-inch. So it's not like it degrades a ton, right? And then Blood Siphon. Blood Siphon is a spell that has a casting value of 6 and a range of 12. If successfully cast, pick one enemy hero unit within range visible to the caster and roll a die. On a 1 and 2, the target suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 3 to 4, the target suffers D3 mortal wound. And on a 5 or 6, the target suffers D6 mortal wounds. I don't want to get close to this thing. This is why I was saying that the strategy that I have is to throw things into their backline and try to come at these heroes in the backline, because I want to distract them, I want to pin them down, I want to tie them up so that they stay away from my castle. right? What I want to do in this case is, because there's zombies coming from all different directions, what I have to do is I have to pull him apart in many different directions so that he's not able to, you know, like pin me. The worst case scenario is I get pinned in a block by zombies and skeletons and direwolves and whatever Graveguard on all side, and then he's able to bring up these Bloodseeker Palanquins and get my whole army within range and just start pumping out AoE mortal wounds, right? For him to pin me in a corner and then throw everything at me and get everything within range, like I'm just gonna melt, right? Like I'm just gonna straight up die, and so I need to be able to like pull him apart in many different directions. So like if he makes me go first and then I get double turned, it's like yikes. If he deploys well so I can't get to him, which I think he'll do, and then like, I mean, the worst case scenario for him is that he lets me go first, half his units are off the table, and he leaves himself exposed, and I can jump in and kill something right away, and like start pulling him apart in that way, like just keep being a nuisance, right? So that's best case scenario for me, and then worst case scenario is he just kind of comes in. So I have to I think I'm gonna have to deploy like pretty far back, pretty defensively. And think really, if he makes me go first, think really carefully about where the grave sites are, so I can try to, if I'm going first, so I can try to deny some of the grave site spawns, so that he has to spawn like far away from me, and then over like turn 2, turn 3, as he moves up the board, start like either running or teleporting things into his back line to give him a hard time. I have a lot of unbinds. I think I have more unbinds than he has spells, right? So the Bloodseeker Palanquins have 1 spell each, and then the Necromancers have 1 spell each as well, so he looks like he's 4 casts, and I have 6 unbinds, right? And then 2 of them are Gobsprack, right? So I'm going to have to do that. So then the difference between the Mortis engines and the Bloodseeker Palanquins, the Mortis engines have some of the abilities, but not all of the abilities. So let's have a look. So, I mean, the like the wounds and movement speed and bravery and all that, and the like the attacks, all of those things are identical, if I am remembering correctly. Yeah, they're just called different things. Actually, that's not true. The Mortis engines, the Mortis staff is significantly worse. Instead of 5 attacks, it's only 2 attacks, and instead of 3s and 3s, it's 4s and 4s. But again, I'm not worried about these things in melee. Like the General, a little bit in melee, because he has Flaming Weapon. But for the Mortis engines, like just overall, I'm not all that concerned about melee attacks. And then, so the differences between the two, just in their abilities, they both have the Wail of the Damned ability, which is the one that I'm most concerned about. That's the 16-inch like AoE mortal wounds. So again, there's 4 of these things, and it's 16-inch range. So if he can start to overlap them, right, like all my little squishy dudes are gonna just start to die. But the Mortis engine does not have the Hunger ability, which is like the healing ability. So that's relevant. It means I can like shoot and weaken them. So like, for example, if they're moving in, I can hit them with Bolt Boys, and if I deal enough damage, I'm going to reduce the range of Wail of the Damned. So that's good. It also doesn't have the Promising Concoction ability, which is where you get like, you can bring back more stuff, and you can do the heroic action twice. Also doesn't have the Blood Siphon ability, which is just more mortal wounds, right? So it's missing some stuff, but it does have other abilities. So it has, like the non-hero Mortis engine has the ability, the Reliquary. Each time a friendly Soulblight Gravelord wizard successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, unbinds a spell, or dispels an endless spell, place one Reliquary counter beside this unit to a maximum of 6, and then once per battle in your hero phase, you can say that this unit will unleash the energies of the Reliquary. If you do so, each enemy unit within 6 inches, so a pretty short range here, suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the number of Reliquary counters beside it. So it'll be 6 mortal wounds. So everything within 6 is going to take 6, right? So, I mean, gross. Like I just don't want to. And then it also has the ability called Nexus of Death Energy. Each time you pick a friendly Soulblight Gravelord, summonable unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit using the Deathly Invocation battle trait. So just as a refresher, the Deathly Invocation battle trait is the grave sites. Let me just look at this real quick. So it's recursion. So you're bringing back more models. It's just like one of the recursion abilities. On a 4-up, wait, nope. Yeah, you can either heal D3 plus 3 wounds instead of 3, Or you can return D3 plus 3. So it's just more recursion. Right? They're like it's just so much recursion. There's just so many zombies coming back from so many different sources all the time. Right? So this is what I'm saying. It's like I can't be worried about the zombies. You know, it's like if you have a huge block of zombies, or if you have like a bunch of zombies, and then you... So, let's just look at this real quick. So, Deadwalker zombies, they come in units of 20. So this is 20. This is 40. The skeletons come in units of 10. So this is another... And this is a reinforced unit. So this is 60. And then the Graveguard come in units of 10. And this is a reinforced unit of Graveyard. So this is another 20. Right? So it's like 20, 40, 60, 80, 1 wound, like idiots running around the battlefield with so much recursion from many, many sources. Like, I'm just going to get swarmed with zombies from all sides. So I need to... And then all of his ranges are relatively short. So I have to kill off his heroes. I have to pull them apart in many different directions. And if I can't do that, like, then I'm just going to get overwhelmed. Or I'm just going to get overwhelmed. For sure. Cool. So, I mean, that's kind of what the heroes do. And then let's have just a quick look at the Necromancer. Necromancer is a 1-cast wizard. 5 wounds, right? 6 up save. So this is what I think... This is what I think I want Gobsprak to be doing. Right? Is I want to have Gobsprak in a good position where I can unbind and hopefully, like, kill these Necromancers. It's not impossible for me to kill both Necromancers on turn 1. Right? All I need to do is get that 10 up unbind. Right, so hopefully I'm getting lucky on primal dice, and then I can just pop these Necromancers' heads off. Right, if I unbind with 10 or more, there's a 1 in 3 chance that the Necromancers just die. So fingers crossed, it's a dice game. Okay, so the Necromancers have the ability Undead Minions. If this unit is within 3 inches of any friendly Soulblight Gravelord summonable unit, so again, it's like it's going to be zombies with heroes behind. You'll notice it's 4 heroes, right, and then 4... units, and then a 5th one that's summonable with the Direwolves. Okay, so if this unit is within 3 inches of any friendly summonable unit, before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this unit, instead of making a word roll for a wound or mortal wound that would have been allocated to this unit, on a 4-up, you pass off mortals. So never mind, I'm not going to be able to pop their heads off turn 1. Like, the Necromancers can just throw their mortal wounds off on skeletons on a 4-up, which means that instead of having 5 wounds functionally, they have 10 wounds functionally. Yuck. So they're going to be a little bit harder to kill than I thought. I'm going to have to, you know, like, have multiple unbinds and roll well. Like, I'm just... just bad. And they have another ability, Van Hell's Dance of Macabre. So it's a spell, casting value of 6, range of 18. Pick one friendly summonable unit wholly within range, visible to the caster, and within 3 inches of any enemy unit. That unit can immediately fight. Okay. So he can fight in the hero phase. Fun. Okay, whatever. I'm not all that concerned about this. So zombies. Yuck. All the zombies and skeletons and Graveguard are 1 wound, which means my reinforced unit of brutes is going to be able to deny their feet on objectives. Right? 1 wound idiots within 3 inches of brutes, like per model, can't contest objectives. So it means I have the front line of, you know, my 10 brutes. I can teleport them onto one of my opponent's objectives, and then I can deny them battle tactics, or I can deny them taking the objective. Because I didn't say this already, but the map is Power Flux. So that's the one where there's 4 objectives on the battlefield, like a north, south, and an east, west. And whoever's going second gets to pick either north, south, or east, west. And then those are the 2 active objectives. So he has a lot of feet, right? He has 81 wound feet that can go on these objectives. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna sort of deploy myself in a castle so that I have 1 of the north-south objectives and 1 of the east-west objectives. And I'm hoping to throw, like, Gore Gruntas in their back line so I can maybe try to contest. Like, if everything goes my way, I might be able to take their objective that's in their territory. And then my brutes I want to send off onto another one of their objectives and try to deny them from having it. Like, I want to make them have to go deal with my brutes on one objective and make them deal with my Gore Gruntas on another objective. And then my Mega Boss is going to go in at some point and hopefully try to trash some heroes. But that's how I'm seeing this game playing out. If I can interfere with their plan and pull them out and force them to, like, force them to deal with me in multiple locations and spread them out, I think I'll be able to maybe take objectives, score my battle tactics, and just interfere with their with my opponent's plan. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Because the Deadwalker zombies, you know, it's like they have a 1-inch range, so they're on small bases, right, 25 mil bases. So a lot of them are going to be able to get in, but it's 5 to hit, 4 to wound, no rend. So because I have 2 blocks of Ardboys, if I stick them, I should be able to hold out really well. You know, it's going to be a lot of attacks coming my way because it's 2 attacks per zombie, but I should be able just to, like, you know, maybe Mystic Shield all out defense and just hold on. And because I'm going to be receiving the charges from zombies, I'll get that 1 rend at the very beginning, but they won't make that big of a difference. Zombies also have a couple of other abilities. Each time a model in this unit is slain by an attack made by melee weapon, if that model is within 3 inches of the attacking unit, roll a die. On a 5-up, the attacking unit suffers 1 more wound. So even when I kill zombies, the zombies are going to kill me back with mortals. Gross. The Newly Dead. At the end of the combat phase, you can roll a die for each enemy model that was slain by wounds caused by this unit's attacks in that phase. For each 2-up, you can add 1 zombie model to the unit. Models that are added to this unit with this ability must be set up within 1 inch of a model in this unit. They can only be set up within 3 inches of an enemy unit if that model in this unit is already... So if it's within combat, you can summon these new zombies in combat. So another form of recursion. Another one. Another form of recursion. Death Rattle Skeletons. They have 1 wound, 4-inch move, 5-up save, and 10 bravery, right? Like, they're not losing anything to Battle Shock because they're undead, right? So they have all this bravery. 4s to hit, 3s to wound, 0 rend, 1 damage. So again, no rend. So Ardboys are going to do pretty good here. They have a standard bear, whatever. Ooh. You can re-roll ward rolls for 1 of this... Of 1? Oh, so when you roll wards, you can re-roll 1s. Okay. Sure. At the start of the combat phase, roll a die for each slain model in this unit. On a 4-up, you can return 1 slain model. Just more recursion. And it's the hero phase. Sorry, the combat phase. So it's twice around. And you roll for every slain model. So it doesn't matter. If there's 1 left, you get to roll 9 dice. Doesn't matter what turn they died in. And you get half of them back. So that's like 4 or 5 more models. Yeah, more recursion. Tide of Bones and Blades. Improve the rend characteristic of this unit's melee weapons by 1 if the number of models in this unit is greater than the number of models in the target unit. And so again, this is a reinforced unit, so it's going to be in units of 20. So he's going to have more than me. So it's going to be, and he's going to keep recurring, right? So he's always going to have more than me. So it's actually 1 rend. Okay, well, whatever. And then Grave Guard, 1 wound, 4 movement, 5-up save, 10 bravery. Melee weapon. Looks like you either pick the White Blade or the Great White Blade. What did my opponent pick here? The Great White Blade. So 2-inch range. That's bad for me. 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, and 1 rend, 2 damage. So that was... I think this is obviously the better profile, especially in a reinforced unit. Shield. If this unit is armed with white blades, so it's not, so that this ability doesn't matter. There's a champion. There's a standard bear. And it's the same as the other ones, so it's just better ward saves. They have a musician. What? Treat charge rolls of less than 6 for this unit as 6. Like, that's so good. You just can't roll less than 6 on a charge. You just can't roll less than 6 on a charge. Okay. Curse weapon. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with melee weapons by this unit is 6, the attack causes 1 mortal wound to the target in addition to any damage it inflicts. Okay. 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 Sure. Dire Wolves. So 2 wounds. Alright. 10-inch move. So this is the only really kind of fast, a little bit tougher. So there's going to be 20 wounds in a block of 10. 4s and 4s. No rend, 1 damage, 1-inch range. So not very slappy. Nothing's very slappy. They just have good wards and lots of recursion. So it's like decent wards, lots of wounds, lots of recursion. I have a lot of damage, right? So, the die rolls have a champion, and then on the hunt, this unit is eligible to fight in the combat phase if it's within 6, and it can pile in 6. Okay, so they're mobile and fast. So this is what I'm afraid of in my backline. These guys, right? They can move fast. They can get in there. It's going to be a tough game. Like, it's going to be a tough game. It's a strong army. So, what are my advantages? My advantages are mobility and damage output. I'm going to deal more damage. Like, my units are going to deal more damage. Oh, and then he has Hoarfrost, of course. Right. So let's sorry, I need to finish looking at these things. Merciless Blizzard, yuck. Hoarfrost, yuck. Vile Transference. So let's look at some spell lore. Vile Transference. A casting value of 6, range of 9 inches. Pick one enemy unit within range invisible to the caster. Roll a number of dice equal to that unit's wound characteristic. On a 5-up, it suffers 1 mortal wounds, and you can heal one mortal wound. So it's like a life drain. But I have nothing. I have no like really big wounded units except for Gobsprak. Gobsprak's going to be far away, so I'm not really concerned about this spell. Merciless Blizzard, I'm concerned about. Giving Hoarfrost to a big block of units that has no rend is really good, right? So I think that all the zombies, all the skeletons. So Hoarfrost is going to have to be a priority. Unbind as well as Blizzard. And then what else we got? Flaming Weapon. I'm not really concerned about this. So Hoarfrost and Blizzard are my priority unbinds. So the priority unbinds is for the Necromancers, which is perfect because that's where I want to prioritize the Gobsprak unbinds. So when I'm deploying and moving, I need to think about that, right? Necromancers have to be within 30 of Gobsprak, and I'm going to unbind both the Necromancer spells. Yikes. So is that everything? I believe so. Core battalions, right? Acolytes, which means I'm not just going to dominate the counter magic. And he's going to outdraw me. Okay. So what are my advantages? Mobility. I have teleport spells. And that's really it, right? Shooting. I'm going to be able to deal a lot more damage from range than my opponent. Like a lot more damage from range. Bolt Boys are there. They're going to deal a bunch of mortal wounds. He is going to ward off a lot of my mortal wounds, so my Bolt Boys are not as strong as they'd be, right? Because he has table-wide 6-up ward saves, and then sometimes 5-up ward saves. So I'm going to have to pick and choose what I want to kill. What else are my advantages? Counter magic, right? I have 6 unbinds, he has 4 spells. So that means that I can... I don't even know. I'm going to win the counter magic game. I have better spells than him, I think. Yeah, I mean, Vile Transference. So I think turn 1, I want Gobsprak with an unbind range of both Necromancers, and then the rest of my casters in the backline. And Choking Mist is going to be good here to stop like turn 1 runs in a big ball. Right, like catching if he's deployed in a castle, and I hit his castle to prevent turn 1 runs. That's going to be good. Keep those zombies and those skeletons back. Yep, when he does come into me, my slapback is going to be strong, right? I have Blizzard, I have Hoarfrost, I have Bolt Boys, I have all kinds of good spells. I think this game I might actually use my Wargog Prophet less for the mask ability. I'm afraid of the mask ability of reducing him to only 2 wounds left, right? Because if my Wargog Prophet goes to 2 wounds left, then all the AoE mortal wounds he's going to come within range and kill me there. So I think my Wargog Prophet is going to spend more time doing Hoarfrost and then his War Scroll ability. Because if you remember, the War Scroll ability that the Wargog Prophet has is a Horde Buster. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. so I can look at it, make sure I'm getting all the details correct. It's the foot, or no, the fist. It's not the hand of Gork, it's the fist of Gork. 24-inch range. You roll a number. It's a very low casting value of a 5. So you pick one enemy unit visible and within range, and you roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in the unit. So we're probably going to be rolling 20 dice. And if the spell is cast on a 10 or more, so if I throw some primal dice at this to get this spell off, on a 4-up, it does mortal wounds. So if there's 20 models and I get 10 or more on the casting value with primal dice, I'm going to be dealing like 10 mortal wounds. So I think that if like that's going to be better, and having Hoarfrost, that's going to be better than using my Wurgog Mask, I think. And because I need a lot of damage output from other sources, like from pigs and mega bosses and other things, I think that Hoarfrost and Fist of Gork is better, I'm thinking. And then the glowing tattoos can just keep him alive if I do get within range of some AoE mortals. So I win the magic game. I have more mobility than he does, I think, just from teleports, right? Stuff like that. What else do I have an advantage? The brutes are going to be a strong unit. Yeah, so turn 1, it's either going to be teleport pigs, if there's a place to get them. And if I teleport pigs, he doesn't really... There's no Unleash Hell in his army. He doesn't have, like, shooting. He has, like, ranged mortals, right? But no shooting. So it'll be teleport 12 inches, Mighty Destroyers into 3 inches, charge in, hit there. So if on turn 1 there is an opening to, like, his general or one of the other big things I want to kill, I can throw pigs at him. If there's not, I think I'll be teleporting brutes onto one of his objectives in an annoying place to force him to fight me. And then the other turn will be the opposite thing. So if I do brutes turn 1, it'll be Gorgrunch's turn 2. So turn 3, Hoarfrost Mega Boss Destroyer turn. Kill whatever it is that I need to kill. I can throw in like a... shoot. What can I throw in? Yeah, I don't even know. Hopefully the Mega Boss... it's like it's tough. Mega Boss teleports outside of 9 inches. And then you can Mighty Destroyer charge, probably with an 8 on the dice. And then you can charge 2 more times. And there's no Unleash Hell. So this is a question that I've had many times, and I'm not interested enough in math to figure this out. Is it better ignoring Unleash Hell, right? Because if you're charging into an Unleash Hell target, like a good Unleash Hell target, then the math changes. I think that then it's obvious which one of these two options is better. But ignoring Unleash Hell, which we are against this army, is it better to teleport outside of 12 inches, Mighty Destroyers yourself in so that you're in 8 inches, so that you have a 7-inch charge. And then you get, for another command point, so this costs 1 command point so far, and then you can re-roll a charge, so two potential charges at 7 inches, and that's going to cost us 2 command points. Or is it better to teleport outside of 9, and then for a command point in the hero phase, attempt an 8-inch on the dice charge, and then for another command point, you can roll it 2 more times. So you can have 3 cracks at an 8-inch charge, right? Or you can have 2 cracks at a 7-inch charge. And I don't know mathematically which one of those is better. Against Unleash Hell targets, I think you want the 8-inch because then you can get around Unleash Hell, and that's going to be something good. What else? So yeah, split them apart, kill things with range. Because he has so many forms of recursion, I think that what I need to do is focus like one of his units and remove it. Right? Pick up one of his units and like throw everything at it to get rid of it off the table. So then he has to summon it back, but it'll push further away from me, and it'll give me a turn to potentially rally, potentially heal. It'll remove some dudes off the table and put them further back, which will help me keep objectives. I'm going to have to be pretty aggressive with my the way that I take and hold objectives. Right? Like I'm going to have to push forward on my objectives to make sure that he can't get a lot of feed on them. So he can't just like take it from me by swarming me. Yeah. What else am I thinking here? Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Let's look at my list a little bit more. Yeah, got my teleport. Teleport's going to be important in this game. Really glad I have Master of Magic for that. Gobsprat can swing in and clean up small groups of zombies and stuff that are left over. Like he can come in and help finish off a unit of zombies or skeletons or direwolves. So his mobility is going to be really helpful. There's a decent... If my plan is going the way I want it to and his heroes and Mortis engines and all that are pulled apart so that they're not getting into my castle, I'll be able to generate a lot of wall points. He's going to have these big blocks of units, and so if I have like Ard Boys and Bolt Boys and everything stacked behind them, I'm going to be able to generate a lot of wall points. This might be one of those games where, like at the end of combat, I have like 6 or 7 units in combat every single turn, which means I can actually call a Wah to chew through even more zombies. There might be like a turn 3 Wah where I am going to try to like push the horde back for one turn. So we'll see how that works out. This might actually be one of those games where I call 2 Wahs. That would be interesting. I think the War Chanter is going to have to get into the fight a little bit more. War Chanter actually hits pretty good. He actually hits pretty good. Yeah. Blizzard is going to get cast a bunch, I'm sure. Talked about Wargog Prophet. Talked about the Brutes, what they're going to do. Talked about everything, I think. Wizard Finder is going to be good for me to kill his general. Because the Bloodseeker Palanquins are both wizards. So even when I'm all buffed up with my +1 to hit, +1 to wound and all that from my wall points, getting +1 attacks is going to be relevant. Is going to really help me take this down. So my Wizard Finders includes the Brutes and the Mega Boss. So that's, you know, so it just means that that's an option. So the Mega Boss with all the buffs, like Hoarfrost and all that, Destroyer, like it should be pretty good. And then I think when I do want to throw Destroyer, I think I do want to actually also throw Violent Fury on the Mega Boss, because the Bloodseeker Palanquins have, and the Mortis engines have 12 wounds. So if I make that damage 6, I know that he has wards, right? But it just means I need to connect with fewer hits to actually deal that 12 damage. Do I want to take out the general more, or do I want to take out the other one first? Probably the general first. Okay. And I think that's it. Well, how many points does he have? He's at 2,000 points, and I'm at 1990. So that means that turn 1, if I teleport the Gore Gruntas, it means that I get my Triumph. So I can use Ironjawz Fist, so I can get +1 to hit, Indomitable for +1 to wound, Hoarfrost for more damage, Violent Fury for more damage. Like, I can do it. I can win. I can win this game. But it's going to be an uphill battle against Soulblight Gravelords. Yeah. So what did I miss? Tell me, please. Those of you that play Soulblight, tell me what else can I do to help win this game? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, like, subscribe, and wah.